It was the winter of 1894 in a small mountain village in northern Italy. Snow lay heavy on the rooftops. Nights were long, and silence was deep enough to hear one's own heartbeat. Father Aurelio had just finished evening prayers when a frantic knocking broke through the stillness of the rectory. A mother stood at the door, her breath sharp with panic. "Padre, please, it's my daughter, Lucia. Something is happening to her. Something not human." But Father Aurelio had heard such pleas before. But something in her eyes, something in the way her hands trembled, warned him that this would not be an ordinary case. He grabbed his coat, his small leather book of rites, and a lantern. As he walked through the cold night toward their cottage, he felt something unsettling, as though an invisible weight pressed heavily against his heart. When they arrived, the house was silent, too silent. Inside, the father sat by the fire, gripping his rosary so tightly the beads had drawn blood from his palms. He didn't utter a word. He only pointed toward a small room. The moment Father Aurelio stepped in, the lantern flame flickered wildly, as though reacting to an unseen presence. Lucia, a 17-year-old girl, was curled against the wall, trembling, whispering to herself, eyes wide open but not seeing the world around her. When the priest approached, she suddenly froze. Then slowly, her head turned toward him. "You should not have come here, priest." But her lips did not move. Her voice was layered, deeper inhuman, vibrating with venom. Father Aurelio's breath caught in his chest. He whispered a prayer under his breath, and that's when Lucia, or the thing inside her, laughed. It echoed in the small room like scraping metal. "Your prayers don't scare me, not today. For today, I will tell you something you have never known. Have you ever sensed an evil presence in a place where everything looked normal?" When Lucia's parents were distracted, the priest noticed something clenched tightly in the girl's hand. A small object, a trinket, a charm. It was made from twisted metal wire and a tiny stone in the center, common in the region, used by villagers to ward off the evil eye, to attract luck, or to protect against curses. "Where did this come from?" Father Aurelio asked. The mother hesitated. Shame settled on her face. "It's just a good luck charm, Padre. The women in the village said it keeps away misfortune." But the moment her words ended, Lucia's body convulsed violently, as if reacting to the topic itself. Suddenly, the room dropped to an unnatural cold, and then a chilling, mocking voice spilled out, "Good luck. Good luck. You humans are so easy to fool." The priest felt the air tighten around his chest. The demon continued, "Do you know what she did, priest?" "She opened the door." "Not I." "She opened it by holding tightly the very thing she believed would protect her." Father Aurelio felt a shiver run down his spine. The charm was not protecting the girl. It was the invitation. Hours later, preparations were made. Holy water was brought. Candles were lit. 2 nuns knelt outside the room in continuous prayer. The moment Father Aurelio began the rite, Lucia's body twisted as if an invisible force tried to escape its own skin. The prayers triggered agony in the spirit. The demon screamed, "Stop your prayers!" "They burn." But the priest continued. He commanded the spirit to reveal its name. What came instead was a revelation that chilled him more than any identity could. The demon hissed, "Ask me not my name, priest. Ask me instead about the charm." Father Aurelio's blood ran cold. "Tell me," he commanded, voice shaking only slightly. "What is this object?" Lucia's body went rigid. The demon spoke slowly, savoring each word. A bridge, a doorway, a claim. You think it is harmless tradition, but I tell you, priest, humans bind themselves to us willingly. All it takes is a charm. What do you think? Can objects carry spiritual influence? Comment your thoughts. The demon gave one of the most frightening confessions ever recorded. Its voice slithered like smoke. You humans believe in little superstitions. The eye, the ribbon, the coin, the stone. You think they protect you. But each one is a silent agreement, a surrender. You say you trust God, yet you cling to us for luck. Father Aurelio felt his stomach twist. So you enter through this charm? He asked. Oh yes, the demon growled. Not because the object has power, it has none, but because the person who uses it invites us, believes in us, relies on us. And that belief opens the door. The priest had never heard such a chilling explanation, and the demon wasn't finished. This one, it tapped the charm through Lucia's trembling fingers. This one prayed to God on Sundays, but carried ME every day of the week. Her faith was split, and a divided soul is easy to claim. The lantern flickered violently. Outside, the wind howled against the wooden walls. And then the demon said something that left Father Aurelio trembling. Humans think they fall into sin. No, they slip one charm, one superstition, one fear at a time, until they no longer know who holds their life. The exorcism stretched into the early hours of the morning. The room shook with unseen force. Lucia's screams echoed through the house. Candles blew out one by one. Father Aurelio pressed the cross to her forehead. The demon shrieked. Take away the charm, and she will weaken, for she clings to it as her safety, and that false trust is my anchor. The priest carefully pried it from Lucia's hand. The instant it left her palm, her body collapsed, exhausted, sweat pouring down her face. The demon roared with fury at losing its foothold. The charm fell to the floor, and the moment it touched the wooden boards, it sizzled like hot metal dipping into water. No one dared touch it again. Why does removing it weaken you? The priest demanded. The demon answered, because she believes it is powerful. Her belief feeds me. When you remove it, you break her trust in me and restore her trust in God by. Tell us in the comments, have you seen people rely on objects more than on prayer? As dawn approached, a faint light entered through the tiny window. The prayers grew stronger. Lucia's breathing steadied. The demon's voice faltered. Father Aurelio sensed its grip loosening. He raised the crucifix high. In the name of Christ, depart! This soul is not yours! Lucia's back arched violently. Her fingers clawed at the air. Her scream pierced the room. The demon fought desperately. I won't leave! She called me! She believed in me! She chose me. But the priest shouted louder. She chooses God now. You have no claim. At that moment, the rosary in Father Aurelio's hand snapped from the pressure he exerted. The beads scattering like rain across the floor. A thunderous crack echoed through the house. No one knew if it was natural or supernatural. Then, silence. Lucia collapsed, unconscious. A deep, heavy stillness filled the room. The demon was gone. When Lucia awakened hours later, her eyes were clear. Her first words were, "Where is the charm? Don't let me see it again. I feel sick thinking about it." Father Aurelio understood. He took the charm far into the forest and buried it under blessed soil. He prayed over it until he felt peace return. That evening, he wrote a letter to his superior describing the event. and recording the demon's terrifying explanation. The letter ended with a powerful warning. People do not understand that the enemy does not need open doors. He enters through the small cracks, the fear, the superstition, the misplaced trust. A charm is not merely an object. It is a confession of faith in something that is not God. Do you think many people today still fall into such dangers without realizing it? Many historians and theologians who studied Father Aurelio's writings noted that the demon's explanation aligned with ancient teachings. That evil spirits exploit fear and superstition. That misplaced trust becomes spiritual vulnerability. That charms and good luck objects act as psychological and spiritual openings. That faith divided between God and superstition leads to spiritual danger. In the 19th century, these beliefs were extremely common. People wore ribbons to attract love, coins for wealth, symbols to repel curses, stones to attract protection, and many still do today. But what Father Aurelio witnessed in Lucia's exorcism revealed something deeper. The object itself is powerless, but the belief placed in it is the invitation. This story is not merely about a demon or an exorcism. It is about the quiet, unnoticed ways darkness approaches the human soul. Not through dramatic moments, not through obvious temptations, but through fear and false security, and the tiny objects we cling to instead of God. Father Aurelio would later write, "The devil does not knock loudly. He whispers, and the charm in your hand is his whisper made solid." Before this video ends, tell us in the comments, do you think people today understand the spiritual danger of superstition? Or is it still hidden from most?